Alejandra is a trauma psychotherapist. She's here now to talk about mental health in the Latino community. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
First off, starting the conversation isn't easy, especially in the Latino community. Some topics are just off limit in Latino families. We're talking about divorce, unemployment, and in this case, mental health and mental illness. Why do you think that's the case?
I think that's the case because there's a lot of stigmas in our community. One of the big one is connected to religion and how we are expected to heal with only religion. But another aspect within our culture is this emphasis on or normalization on the machismo culture and how rooted that is in many of the decision making for within families. Other systemic ones include lack of resources available in Spanish for the Latino community and lack of therapists that are, culturally informed.
A single parent household, my mom was raising my brother and me and taking care of her mom, my grandmother. We grew up in neighborhoods that were still dealing with the legacy of segregation and in schools that were underfunded. My brother and I became the first in our family to go to graduate school. We went to
during Pablo Escobar's era in Medellin, Colombia, which is the reason why me and my family and I came to this country. I was held at gunpoint at a really young age, and I think that was just one of many incidents. There was a bomb that went off right next to my parents when I was 8 months old. And so all of that terrorizing fear really led my parents to come to this country.
And the videos we see previously are just some personal testimonies from those who have suffered from major life impacting events that may have caused some sort of trauma that could have formed to mental health issues. And so today we will be discussing mental health issues and the ability to healthcare access within the Latinx and Hispanic community. Jumping straight into our statistics, here we see a poster that states 18.3% of the U.S. population is estimated to be Latino or Hispanic, and of those, over 16% have reported having mental illnesses within the past year, which is equivalent to over 10 million people, which is larger than the population of New York City. And so based off the statistics provided by the Mental Health Association, Mental Health America, by 2060, the estimated number of Latinx and Hispanic people in the United States is projected to grow to 119 million, or 28.6% of the population. Just some statistics and background. Some serious mental illnesses have rose from 4% to 6.4% within our community in the ages of 18 to 25, and from 2.2% to 3.9% in the age group of 26 to 49 between the years of 2008 and 2018. Major depressive episodes have increased from 12.6% to 15.1% in the Latinx community. In youth ages from 12 to 17, and has increased 8% to 12% in young adults from the ages 18 to 25, and 4.5% to 6% in the ages of 26 to 49 age range between the years of 2015 and 2018 here in the U.S. This figure here shows a percentage of non-elderly adults from ages 18 to 64 who were uninsured during the calendar year of 2013 to 2016. Health and healthcare have a two-way relationship. Poor healthcare leads to poor health, which then makes healthcare more expensive and less accessible. The Affordable Care Act has narrowed racial gaps in access to healthcare, but Latinos are nearly 3 times more likely to be uninsured than non-Hispanic whites, in which 1 in 4 Latinos have no health insurance. Many factors partake in the results of access to healthcare, but one of them is the cultural barrier where nearly a third of Latinos are not fluent in English, which makes the healthcare system less accessible to those who often need it the most. That being said, 44% say that more communication problems from language or cultural differences is the main reason why Hispanic people have generally worse health outcomes than other adults in the US. Mental health is an extremely important topic that isn't represented or discussed enough, not only within the Latino, Latinx, Hispanic community, but also in society as a whole. And so I thought it'd be a great idea to bring in some people from different generations to discuss mental health and share their testimonies on mental health and the access that they had to it and the resources that were available, and if they taken the time to use them, and if not, how that has impacted their stance on mental health. So in this further video, I will introduce one of my best friends, Mariana Gutierrez, who is a firstborn child to two immigrant parents from Jalisco, Mexico, and her stance on mental health.
My experience with mental illness and mental health in the Hispanic community is that it's something that is not really acknowledged. It's not something that we talk about. I feel like even though with our culture we have set a lot of big expectations onto ourselves, and we can be a bit harder on ourselves, it's something that we all do at some point. And I grew up in a household that's you don't really talk about your feelings. You kind of keep to yourself, and you should be able to deal with your stuff on your own. But in my household, I have an older sister who dealt with a lot of mental illness growing up, and it was always okay, what care can we do? What care can we get for her? How can we support her? So I know, at least in my circle, that it's something that if I ever needed, I felt comfortable, being hey, I need to see someone. But personally, I've never spoken to a therapist or anything. I try to do a lot of self-care to take care of myself, and just pay attention to what I'm feeling, and how that affects me and how that affects others. I've never gone as far as to reach out to any mental health professionals, just because part of the culture is oh, I should be able to take care of myself. So I do kind of still have that mindset, but because of just education and being aware of the resources, I'm comfortable knowing that if I ever really do need to reach out, that I am able to.
So did any of your brothers, or how was Tata and Nana when it came to to discussing your guys' emotions and your feelings?
Your tata and your nana never had that with us, handled us emotion and all this, because we never, whatever he said, we did, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And so how do you think that affected you growing up?
Hey, it made me stronger.
Yeah. Would you have considered therapy, or do you think
Not really, because I never, to me it was natural.
Uh-huh. And do you think that you did you guys have access to therapy back then, or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know, because we never went through it.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you and Tata have access to therapy for Tiavero and Tiwan?
No, we had access because I had insurance.
Uh-huh.
But I never took them, not until they got married, and they themselves had to go to their own therapist.
Mm-hmm. And so say as a kid they needed therapy, what were your thoughts on that as a whole, just mental health resources and reaching out?
Well, it will probably would have been done better You know, maybe they would have gotten raised up better when they were. You know, they wouldn't go through all this depression and all that, but that's about it.
Yeah. And do you know, as you can see in the previous video, we were introduced to my Nana Virginia, who you can really see the difference between the two generations and their perspective on mental health. But a similarity that they both share is the stigma that within the Latino X and Hispanic community, there's not much coverage or advocacy on being able to discuss emotions with those within our circle or those within our family. And for generations, that stigma has stuck, and even though it's less prevalent nowadays within our generation, it's still there. And day by day and generation by generation, we are constantly trying to break that generational trauma and move forward from it. And so mental health as a whole within society, our community, there's a lot of factors that go into it and should be taken account when discussing mental health and its access and being able to access it. And so here are just a couple of the resources that I found. There are many resources out there available for the Latino community, which I was not aware of, which is pretty amazing. But SAMHSA itself is government help designed to help with financial aid when it comes to mental health treatment. Talk They Hear You is a campaign designed by SAMHSA for parents to be able to discuss the damages and dangers of alcohol abuse and alcohol substances. Mental Health America, the National Alliance for Mental Health, Lucas, Latinos Living Healthy. Mental Health America provides general mental health Spanish-speaking resources, a lot of Spanish language materials and screening tools. The National Alliance for Hispanic Health is also designed by the Coalition of Spanish-Speaking Mental Health Organization located in Los Angeles, and they provide resources for the Latinx community. And then LULAX, Latino Living Healthy, is just an initiative that aims to reach at Latinx across the U.S. and Puerto Rico to address health disparities within the communities through education and increased awareness of health issues. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed my short film on mental health and the importance of it within our community. And as a reminder, remember to be kind to your peers, to reach out to one another. We are community and we are here for one another. So be kind, be gentle, be loving, and understanding. Have a good one. Thank you.